I thought today would be a good day to compare two new tablets that start at the same price, the Galaxy Tab S10 Lite from Samsung and the iPad 11. So which one gives you more for your money? Let me know down in the comments which one you would choose, but let's go ahead and get started. Even though both of these tablets start at $349, one advantage for Samsung is the S Pen is included, where the iPad works with the USB-C pencil, but that's gonna cost you about $80 extra. If pen support is important to you, that's definitely something to consider. The Galaxy Tab starts with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. Both of these start with 128 gigabytes of storage. One advantage for Samsung is it takes a microSD card up to 2 terabytes, which is something you're not gonna get with the iPad. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you can still use a nano SIM card if you're using the cellular version for Samsung. The iPad is eSIM only. As far as display sizes go, they're actually both right at 10.9 inches, although you can see the iPad's just a little bit different aspect ratio. It's a little bit wider, where the Galaxy Tab's a little more rectangle. The Galaxy Tab has a TFT LCD display versus IPS LCD display for the iPad. The iPad is slightly higher resolution. However, Samsung has a higher refresh rate at 90 Hz versus only 60 on the iPad. The iPad's a little bit brighter though, which you can definitely tell when you put these two next to each other. The iPad's gonna have a little better viewing angles and just looks a little bit better for most things. I feel both of these actually look pretty good in person, especially if you're looking straight at the screen. I think most people will be satisfied regardless of which one you go with. It may just come down to personal preference. Now, when it comes to battery life, you've got an 8,000 milliamp hour battery. You've got a larger 8,000 milliamp hour battery in the S10 Lite, 698 milliamp hour in the iPad. You can also now charge up to 45 watts on the iPad versus 25 watts for the Galaxy Tab. I know running the same battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, the Galaxy Tab lasted 8.5 hours versus only 5.5 for the iPad. But keep in mind, the iPad is brighter, so if you turn that down, I think it's going to be a little closer than what this test is showing, but both of these should have enough juice to last a couple days with normal use before you have to charge back up. Now, when it comes to software, these two are obviously going to be quite a bit different, with the Galaxy Tab currently on Android 15. I think one advantage for Samsung is you have Samsung DeX if you want to be a little more productive. Not only that, you've got 7 years of software updates with the S10 Lite, so you're going to have really good software support regardless of which tablet you go with. The iPad's currently on iPadOS 18. I know there's some people that prefer the Apple Pencil over the S Pen. For me, I kind of like the S Pen better, but both of these actually work really good. Whether you want to take notes, draw, or just move around the software, you really can't go wrong with either one when it comes to the software and pen or pencil support. One advantage for the iPad is it has video out, so you can use an HDMI adapter to connect to a projector, TV, or external monitor. Unfortunately, you don't get that with this Samsung tablet. You also don't get it on the S10 FE. You actually have to go up to the regular S10 or S11 tablets to get that feature. One advantage for the iPad is it has a fingerprint scanner right on the power button, where you don't get any fingerprint scanner on the S10 Lite, unfortunately. One advantage with the iPad is when it comes to performance, you've got the A16 Bionic chip in the iPad 11. You've got the Exynos 1380 chip in the Galaxy Tab S10 Lite, which is going to have higher performance, and it's definitely going to be better for multitasking or when playing more demanding games, or if you're going to be doing things like video editing. The iPad has a pretty big advantage when it comes to performance and gaming as well. When it comes to speakers, you've got one on each side. Even if the iPad looks like two on each side, two of those are just for looks. I feel like they're pretty close as far as overall loudness and quality of sound, but when you listen to them right next to each other, the iPad might have just a tad better bass, but I would give the slight advantage to Samsung as far as which one is louder. But here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how they sound. comes to cameras, you've got an 8 megapixel on the back of the S10 Lite, 5 megapixel on the front, where the iPad has a 12 megapixel on the back, 12 megapixel ultra wide on the front, and it's got center stage as well, which is automatically going to keep you in the center during video calls. So I'd probably give the slight advantage to the iPad when it comes to camera quality. But here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how they compare. So hopefully this gave you a little closer look between these two. I feel like if you need expandable storage, a smoother display, a faster refresh rate, and if Samsung DeX is something important to you, plus having the pen included, I think it's pretty easy to go with Samsung over the iPad. But if you want the tablet with the best performance, there are a few apps out there that are more optimized for the iPad. If you plan on doing video editing, you want a little better camera quality, and you don't mind paying extra for the Apple Pencil, I think the iPad 11 is actually a pretty good choice. I think even though they're about the same price, there's definitely some pros and cons for each one, and it may come down to personal preference. But if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.